Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue our journey with Mariah and Sandra on Smothered. Let's get to the show.
Tonight, my dad has taken us all out for my birthday, and I'm a little bit worried because he's very irritated with me and my mom right now, so I'm not so sure how fun this is gonna be.
Are you mad at me?
No.
You still love
I just know
me.
where her encouragement comes from. This isn't what should be projected for a mom and a daughter. I don't think a mom and a daughter should dress this way. I'm not in agreement with the outfits. That's big to me.
Okay, so there's nothing wrong with a ex-husband and a father having some feelings and some thoughts about his ex-wife and his daughter going to Vegas, his adult daughter going to Vegas in revealing clothing. Now, what would be the problem? Aside from a cultural standpoint, like it's just like odd to do that, what would be the concern for the father? Well, I wouldn't be surprised if the father feels as though it's kind of his job to protect the daughter from, incursions from other men, if you will, from being victimized by other men. And so the father might feel it's his responsibility to, at the very least, comment on the actions of his daughter and his worries about her being victimized. Whether or not you want to manifest that in conversations about outfits or not is a whole other conversation, by the way. There's also a potential concern that some fathers in situations like this would have of like, I don't know, there seems to be something kind of weird about mom and daughter dressing that way and acting that way. It just feels weird to me. Now, again, we would have to define what that weirdness is. Is it just weird because it's culturally odd to you, meaning that you wouldn't act that way? Or is it something actually legitimate in terms of, not liking something? For example, in the past, and for some right now, people will look at a gay couple on the street holding hands and kissing, and they will go, ew, that's gross, right? And that's a cultural understanding, meaning that you've been taught this message that gay people holding hands is gross. It is not empirically gross. So because something feels gross does not mean it's empirically, scientifically gross. For the father, it might look gross to him, but we don't know if it's empirically gross. The other thing I could imagine an ex-husband having some concern about is a little bit of jealousy. He knows that he doesn't have any right to tell his ex-wife what to do, but it can sometimes hurt, right? Imagine you with your ex-spouse or your ex-partner, and on Facebook you see pictures of them dressed in a very revealing outfit with other people around, and you have to look at that. That's going to provoke some feelings of loss, some feelings of sadness, some feelings of FOMO, and you're going to get a little jealous and you're going to get concerned. So I wouldn't be surprised if the father has some feelings along those lines. I don't know. But let's hear what his reasons are.
Going out with your boobs out, your mom's boobs out, and you don't think anything's wrong with it, you're crazy. When me and your mom were first...
So if I was there to talk with him, I'd say like, okay, I hear you. Let's drill down on that a little bit. What do you mean by crazy? Tell me, what are you worried about? That's always a good question to ask is, what outcome are you worried that's going to happen? And I don't know what he would say because there's so many different possibilities. Instead of saying to ex-wife and daughter, there's something wrong with what you're doing. I don't like what you're doing. What you're doing is weird to me. It's crazy what you're doing. Instead of doing something like that, you would need to say, I am worried about these things happening because you guys are going to do that. That would be much more understood by other people, and other people are more likely to receive that well. And the other people have a chance to belay those fears. If his worries are they're going to be victimized, they can say, look, we know what we're doing. We're not going to go off with any random people. We're not going to get too drunk. We know what we're doing. Yes, we're dressed in very revealing clothing, but we're going to stay in the hotel. We're not going to drink any drinks that we weren't able to monitor. We're very careful along those lines. So yes, we understand that when we dress like that, some predators might actually target us, but we know how to protect ourselves, and we'll be watching out for each other. And we're actually going to go with other friends, or who knows what they say. So it gives him a chance to belay his fears, to help him with his fears. And then he can say, okay, well, I'm still not excited about you dressing like that, but given what you just told me, I feel much more reassured. Thanks for telling me that. But I don't know. I don't know what the dad is thinking. Maybe he'll get more specific, other than saying what the two of you are doing is crazy and I don't like it, and thus you can't do it, which I don't know is going to go over well with the two of them.
We're probably gonna go out.
Where?
And then I have the Black Magic live show set up for her.
Yeah.
Black magic.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's like a
Like a
yeah,
chocolate
it's
chip and Dale.
Oh, that's why y'all got those funny outfits.
No.
What are they supposed to do at these?
Shows.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been to one. Mom's the one who.
Set it up. Mom is the instigator.
She's a good instigator. She makes things fun.
Right.
All right, so I'm hearing a pretty functional conversation. The dad is expressing his concerns. The mother and the daughter are, saying, okay, this is what we're doing, and this is going pretty well so far. I still would want the father to dig down deeper in terms of what emotions he's having as he is thinking about future possibilities, so he can communicate that in a more vulnerable way so that the family can understand what's really happening for him. But it's going pretty well. It doesn't seem to be escalating anyway.
It's my 21st birthday,
She's
Dad.
21. We're going to Vegas.
I'm looking at you for guidance.
My dad can't win me over my mom.
This is my daughter. You don't discipline her. I do.
All right, last the comment there. So we finally heard a little bit from the dad, and I'm surprised I didn't pick up on this earlier, was that the dad might be concerned as to the modeling that the mother is doing for the daughter. The father might be concerned of like, look, you're her mother. You need to be modeling respectful behavior. Now, I don't know if the mother is doing disrespectful behavior to herself and her body. I haven't seen any overt evidence of that. But, it stands to reason that the father might have that worry. And so he expressed that. I wish he would have led with that. I wish he would have said, like, look, daughter, you're 21. You're old enough to do what you want to do. I'm just worried about you learning some bad lessons from your mom, because your mom seems to be acting a little immature, and she's free to do that. But I'm just worried that you're going to learn some bad lessons, and you're growing up, and I want you to move on to the next phase of life where you're not doing stuff like this anymore, or whatever his concern was. I don't know what it was. The other thing we're hearing, which is a little more concerning, is that the two of them, particularly the mother, is saying, no, Dad, you do not parent our daughter. I'm in control here. Okay, so where did that emerge from and why? I don't know. There might be some good reasons for that. Maybe the dad has some problems. Who knows? Or maybe the mom is just overly protective and insecure about sharing her daughter with the father. I don't know. That raises a lot of questions. Let's rewind that and listen to it again.
She's a good instigator. She makes things fun.
Right.
It's my 21st birthday,
She's
Dad.
21. We're going to Vegas.
I'm looking at you for guidance.
My dad can't win me over my mom.
This is my daughter. You don't discipline her. I do. Can we have a relaxed birthday dinner? My goodness.
I'm protecting my kid. I want my kid to not have to be gawked at and groped and...
Nobody's groping nothing.
All right, so we finally heard an outcome the father is worried about: groping and gawked. And that's actually a really important conversation for parents to have with their kids if they run into it. To say, daughter of mine, you're an adult, you're free to do what you want to do, but here are my worries. As your father, I'm protective of you, and I'm worried that people are going to gawk at you, and they're going to grope you, and they're going to hurt you. So there are two different potential vibes here. One is that I care about you as my daughter, and I don't want you to be hurt. And as your father, I'm concerned about that. The other vibe here is you're a woman, you're a female in my family, and I as a man, I own you. And if another man looks at you, then they are encroaching on my property. Now, the dad isn't giving off vibes of that. The dad's giving more vibes of caring about his daughter's well-being. But it's possible that it is the other one. I don't know. And we have to be careful as men about the vibe we give across to people. That it's okay to say, oh, I'm kind of worried about your state. I'm worried about you. And then the person can say, you know what? Thank you for your worry. Don't worry about me. I've got this under control. And then you can say, okay, well, it's your life, and just know that I'm worried about you. And if you need my help or advice, you can come to me for help. Okay, it's more of a functional approach. A dysfunctional approach is, to be a man, I need everyone to understand that I'm asserting my dominance over the women in my life. And I don't want any men looking at you. I don't want any men touching you because you're a woman under my castle and I have to protect you. And that is a vibe that doesn't feel good to other people. So anyway, so that dad expressed that worry, and the daughter just said, no one's going to be groping me. I wish they would have a longer conversation about that, where the daughter said, Dad, thank you for your worry. Let me explain a few things to you. When I go out, I don't let this happen. I don't let that happen. I make sure this doesn't happen. Run through all the different scenarios. And then maybe the dad can be like, oh, okay, I see that you're a grown adult now and you know how to handle yourself, and I don't need to worry so much anymore. I wish people would have more conversations like that. Maybe they will. Let's continue watching.
I'm protecting my kid. I want my kid to not have to be gawked at and groped and...
Nobody's groping nothing.
Everybody in this family has very strong personalities, so even though my dad makes good points, when Mariah and my mom make up their minds about something, they are gonna do it no matter what.
We've been raising these kids all this time. Now all of a sudden, off of just this one time, now you want to make it seem like...
That's true.
Like you're the one guiding her, you're the one misleading her, you're the one really?
Okay, so what we're seeing here is a classic triangle between parents and oldest child. And who knows the history and who knows what's happening here. But there's a possibility that as the mother and father were having conflict before they divorced, the oldest daughter was called in to be a triangulated third to alleviate the tension between the two of them by being a companion for the mom and also being parentified. And one of the ways that the daughters actually define their relationship is they're in opposition to the father. The way that they demonstrate their love and connection for each other and loyalty to each other is by shutting him out. And he subconsciously might actually want the two of them to be close because he likes to see people in his family being close, and he will act like the villain to allow them to shut him out so that they can bond. Sometimes people will do that. So there's a lot I could say about that, and I really hope that they give us more data because this can be very helpful in me talking about systems and triangulation in families. But we're just seeing some early indications of how that triangle works. Let's continue watching.
Yeah, but
You've never ever said that before to me.
I'm talking about a situation. This situation is not back then. This situation is now.
Right, and so we've already discussed it.
All right, interesting. So the mom was pretty mean, I would say, in that moment. Maybe she's justified. We do not know the history of this family. But at the very least, the father walks away. Why would he do that? He's probably really hurt by what the mom just said. The dad is trying to be a dad. He wants his fears to be heard. All the two of them had to do was say, Dad, thank you for your concern. Let us belay your fears. Let us counter your fears with us demonstrating to you, particularly the daughter, that she is smart and she knows how to protect herself. I'm guessing that would have worked. The dad seemed rational enough. He didn't seem that amped up about it. But the mom was very clear and said, you are on the outside and you do not have power in this family and no one wants to hear what you have to say. Daughter doesn't want to hear you. I don't want to hear you. So be quiet. And the dad gets up and walks away.
I didn't know that Adrian was going to take us going to Vegas the way that he has. Did he really leave?
Why are people trying to cancel Vegas for us?
That's why we keep things to
Sin
ourselves.
City.
We've been doing what we want to do from the
Since day
beginning,
one,
since
baby.
day one. I'm
He's
sorry.
just being a dad, though.
Okay, more data that the younger daughter defends dad. So maybe younger daughter has a bond with dad, older daughter has a bond with mom, and they will ally against each other. I don't know, it's just more data.
You solid?
I'm all right. Yo, first of all, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Turning 21, that's big. You know, that puts you in adulthood. You my baby, you know? I love you.
All right, this is great. The dad took a break. He came back very quickly, and he started off great. He's like, first of all, happy birthday. I love you. You're moving on in life. So this is good. And let's see how this progresses.
My dad needs to accept the fact that I'm 21 and he's no longer married to my mom. So we can make our own decisions about what we want to wear to my birthday party in Las Vegas, period. We ordered the same thing. Oh, and y'all ordered the same thing.
How cute.
All right, another sort of minor detail pointing to the alliances in the family between youngest daughter and dad and oldest daughter and mom, because they each ordered different meals but in common with each other of their ally.
You like your mama.
That was a good compliment. I like that.
Sandra's a grown-ass woman. She can make her own choices. I'm just worried about Mariah. She needs a mother. She doesn't need a partner in crime.
Okay, so we hear another fear behind what he's saying right there is that I was saying earlier. He's worried that the mother isn't being a mother for the daughter. The mother isn't being that responsible person. It's okay for a 21-year-old to be irresponsible here and there, to be 21, but you would want a role model, a person you want to elevate towards. And the dad seems to be saying he wants the mother to be that role for her. Nothing wrong with that. I wish he would have articulated that more pointedly, more, vulnerability-wise, of just like, okay, ex-wife of mine, you're free to do what you want, or I can't tell you what to do, but here are my kids. And I might even have that conversation between the parents without the kids around, where the dad is saying to the mom, look, I'm just kind of worried that with you kind of reinvigorating your early adulthood life, which you're allowed to do, but doing it in front of your daughter, it might come across like your daughter doesn't have anything to elevate towards. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. There's no scientific evidence that a daughter who's 21 can't elevate and mature normally with a mom who wants to party with her daughter. There's nothing inherently limiting in that way. There's also a possibility that the dad has been observing for quite some time now that the mother elevates the daughter above the mother to help her out, and that the mother is frequently lowering herself in the hierarchy, which to the father was concerning when they were, when the child was 10 and the 10-year-old was taking care of the mother, that kind of thing. And the father has been watching that from afar for many years and has been concerned, and it's compounded with this current event. I could see that being true as well. Anyway, let's continue watching. All right, well, that does it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm always interested in reading what you have to say. Also, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, you can do that. You can also hit the bell. You can like this video. It's always cool when people like the video. It's pretty easy. Or dislike. If you hate the video, you can dislike it as well. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.